Yeah. Hey, what's up, guys? There he is.
There we
What's up,
go.
Chris?
Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can hear you. Let me just turn up my
Hear me?
yeah, let me just turn up my computer speakers here so it picks you up. Okay. Let me hear you one more time, Chris. I'm just starting to record this.
All right, there we go.
Yeah, that's
Testing. Good.
yep, that sounds pretty good.
Perfect.
Awesome. How you doing today?
Doing good. Taking care of some business. Taking care of some business over here, and mowing the yard. So pretty productive today.
Yeah, food shopping today after the holiday. The house was looking pretty barren. We got all kinds of stuff for the holiday, but then it was like, all right, we need to go get some real food. And with work, things are always so busy. I don't have a chance to get away for 3, 4 hours, but it's good to work from home for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, we're definitely excited to have you in the room. I'm going to give it a couple minutes just for some people to trickle in, and we could get started at about 7:05 if that's cool with you.
That works.
Awesome. So you're a doctor, right?
That is correct. Out of Texas Tech.
Out of Texas Tech, Red Raiders.
Oh yeah, Red Raiders all the way.
Nice. You still involved with the college a lot?
To some extent, mainly giving them more money. You go to school and you go to a professional program. They
Yeah.
take a bunch of money from you, and
What keep
then they
wanting
start
more?
asking. You take off, and they're like, "Hey, come back here. That takes. Let's have some more money." But uh, I
Yeah.
was I was part of a few different fraternities and different groups in there, and helped do some of the interviewing and things like that. So
Reaching out to all the alumni or new football.
those jerseys don't change every year on their own.
Right. Well, Patrick Mahomes went there, didn't he?
He did. He did. They've got him. Zach Thomas is a big
Yeah.
one. And I'm not sure Amendola. I think Amendola went too, possibly. Danny Amendola.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure they're hitting Patrick Mahomes up now that he's making that crazy, stupid money. Now they're probably hitting him up every time they need something.
Definitely. They're gonna. I'm sure. I'm sure that they're gonna want to build a new stadium and put a little something about him in there.
Yeah, I'm sure of it. Oh, we've got a good turnout showing up here so far.
Good.
Yeah, we got at least 15 people. How often have you been doing AMAs in your room?
We've had one so far. Granted, the 3 weeks
Yeah, it's
tops.
pretty new.
Uh, yeah, it's pretty new. The first one was mainly when we released the white paper. We were just trying to be very informative and just transparent in front of exactly what we're trying to do, what we're trying to accomplish. Uh, and so we did that, and we haven't had a second one yet, but I'm sure a second one will be coming up soon.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. We do a lot of these in the room, and we always have a lot of fun with them, and it's a good time now. Sometimes we have a lot of European people in my group, so if we do them any later than this, it's the middle of the night for them, and there's just not as good of a show out. But we always tape them, and then they go back and watch them. But I always like having a lot of people in the room for interaction purposes.
Yeah, poor. I think Mason's here, but poor Ross. He's 6 years. He's 6 hours, I think, or 5 hours. I don't know. This universal time thing still tricks me. But
It kills
uh,
me. It kills me too. And everybody uses it. And every time I go to schedule one of these, they're like, "Can we do it at 1900 UTC plus one?" And I'm like, "Look, man, we're doing it at 5 o'clock Eastern time. You figure out the time that is."
exactly. I blame the U.S. I blame the U.S. Same reason why I have to convert standard U.S. to metric.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy. But yeah, I go through that too. All right. Well, we got like 17 people in here, so we got a pretty good start with it. So I wanted to start off by just asking you, how did you get involved with crypto?
Well, at first, with Bitcoin starting to gain popularity, things like that, I got a little involved with that. Picked it up when it was early. Try to do a little trading with it. Wasn't so great, but my background before that was stock trading and investing, doing
Yep.
things, different things, even getting into option trading and stuff. So was a natural flow over into Bitcoin and some of those things. But as the DeFi started to grow and expand, and I started seeing some of these projects and how they were run, how different things were going, some of the utility, it naturally sparked the entrepreneur in me
Hmm.
to start thinking about some of these areas that issues that we're having in tokenomics and just maybe in crypto in general, and ways that I could impact those.
Yeah, you remember those old days with just dealing with Bitcoin, where you would send money from Bitcoin from one wallet to another. It would take like 45 minutes to get there, and you think you lost your money, and then it would just show up, and you'd be having a nervous wreck until it did.
Exactly. Every time you send it, you're sitting there. You're like, man, he should be there by now. Should be there by now. And yeah,
Yeah.
it nerve wracking. And then finally it hits you like, oh, okay.
It,
Don't seem to learn your lessons the same way the next time.
I know, I know. What I ended up learning to do is just send like $5 the first time, just to make sure the address was right. It eventually went through before I would send, like a big amount over.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
What was now you working with like Pancake Swap and like some of those other small DeFi projects, that's a whole nother animal. Like, well, I know when I started trading, I first started with like crypto.com and Coinbase and stuff like that. What was the first project that kind of got you into like messing with Pancake Swap, which is like a whole nother animal in itself?
Really just kind of watching like a Safe Moon
Yeah,
and so Reflecto,
yeah.
ones like that. I think a lot of people who have seen me around that kind of see that's where I first kind of landed on the map in publicly in the arena was with Reflecto.
Yeah, I got into Reflecto pretty early and it just kind of did nothing for a while. And I kind of got frustrated with it, which is you have that big buzz around it. Everybody loves those high, reward percentages. You have a big launch, everybody gets on board, and then all of a sudden, the volume starts to kind of fizzle out on it. What are some things you're doing with Vault that'll kind of, be a little bit different to, kind of combat that problem?
Yeah, well, we're doing a lot of things different. First of all, exactly what you're saying is one of those things. Everybody loves a tokenomics token the
Hmm.
first week,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's just the first 2 days. Everybody's winning, shaking hands, high fiving. But then after that, the team really has to grind. The team has to grind and start trying to come out with those utilities. And everybody just sits and waits, and they watch their investments go. A lot of times like it goes down, and you sit there and you hold and you eat the dip, and we've all seen the same charts where people make memes and charts saying, this is where we're at, this is where we're at.
Yeah.
So but there's a couple different things that I wanted to do when we started Vault. One, I don't I've been owning businesses since I was 13, and I don't believe in starting something, having a brand, having a product, having any sort of business that isn't functional or
And
doing
ready to
something on
go
day one.
day one. Yeah, you're right.
I believe on I mean, for one, I don't believe in people investing in something that's like that in general first, and that could just be the Wall Street background in me, but that's tough for me to grasp. So I see things in terms of value, and you've got to bring value. So day one, we intend to bring value. So that's one thing is with we have a couple of utilities right off the muscle, and first we're going to have that DAP that's functional. We need people to be able to see their rewards, be able to interact. We want to have the website a private and public side to it. Public that's going to be something where people can get information. It's going to be a good information source, but also a private side that you have to hook with your wallet to and pretty much show that you hold some of the coin to get
Right.
in there. And there's going to be some special things going on that side for our holders that they have privileges and benefits to. So that's one thing that we're doing. The other thing, the big one in the room, is going to be the sell list
Yeah,
contract.
I love
It's
that.
going to be
I absolutely love that. Yeah, because
and
that's a problem with reflection tokens. Everybody likes getting those rewards, but then you get a whole day's worth of momentum going on the charts after a drop, and then next thing you know, it has to sell off, in order to pay out the BUSD rewards, and it just kills all momentum that you got throughout the day, and I don't like that. I don't like that with every project has that. So yours is really the first one that I've seen that doesn't have that. So I guess you built that custom into your contract and put a lot of work into that, right?
yes, it's one of those things that we're very proud of, and that's really going to be a game changer in the tokenomics arena, to where the point that we're looking to proxy protect, even possibly patent some of these ideas we're using to make that happen, because the selling on the chart, it's very hurtful to the project, and a lot
Yeah.
of people don't realize because they haven't been on the project side of it, they've been on the investor side, but on the
Hmm.
project side, I've got wallets full of tokens, and as you know, if you think of this in terms of a business, I've got to make money moves on this side to get this business rolling, and we got to pay the bills and keep the lights on, do all these different things. But I have to sell the tokens every time I do that, and so it's a little painful. I mean, the main one people know is the rewards, and that's painful as well too, to build up all the momentum over the day, and
Hmm.
everybody's grind and grow the chart and keep it green, and then you have something like all of a sudden you have that sell happen, and then you have that FUD and the fear start to show up, and people start selling, and
Yep.
it's a very negative impact.
You're right. You're right, because not everybody knows that red candle is the contract selling off the tokens. Some people just think, oh my god, a whale just sold, and now it's dropped 15%. I'm gonna get out here too, and then the next person does it, and next thing you know, you're down 40-50% just from a contract sell.
Exactly, and that's what we're hoping to combat is that whole issue right there. But that new form, that next generation of contract, is going to lend itself to a whole new way that everything's done. We're not just talking how the contract and rewards interact, but this is going to be cause ripple effects through how the crypto is going to be done. So there's a lot of this is the future.
Yeah, I definitely think it is going to be the future, but you're not going to have an open source code, right? You guys are going to protect your contract to where somebody can't just copy this with like a duplicate project and use the same thing, right?
Exactly. It won't be duplicatable. That's not to say that we're not already considering the possibility of having licensing or different sorts of agreements in
Now
place.
that's a great
We are
idea. Now that's a great idea, licensing that.
exactly, and I mean we are in business. I've got a business mind. Partnerships are very important, and so we're definitely not looking to just keep this technology and never let it see the light of day. But there are certain things that will have to be done, licensing, different things like that, where that can be available. Of course, that's past where we are right now today,
Right.
but that's going to be the direction that it's heading.
So let me ask you, what was the point? Like, what was that aha moment where you said, you know what? I'm going to start this project, and we're going to get a team together, and we're going to get this going. Like, what events led to you like really pulling the trigger and starting Vault?
Yeah, I've had the opportunity to meet a lot of good guys.
Yeah.
Mason and Ross are great, and our mod team, those vault guards, they are top notch. And I'm grateful every day to have them on the team because in the end, nobody has to join arms with you and decide to work with you together. So, but seeing some of these projects, I started to see that some of them are just run very unprofessionally, for one.
Yeah.
Other ones don't have a possibility. Some of them don't have the business acumen to handle that. I mean, I've seen some people that are just brilliant in the development ideas, but when you have to translate that into running this and managing more than just what you're developing, there's a lot of factors. There's really running one of these projects is a multidisciplinary venture, and not everybody is sharp on all sides like that. And so I was very fortunate that we just reached a point where I was pretty much had great ideas, fed up with some of these projects, seeing the angles they were going, and just had the right people around me to tap them on the shoulder and invite them.
Yeah, I understand, more than, you might talk to a lot of other people, between now and launch, to do interviews for you, but with you. But I understand what you mean more than anything. I actually have a project that I'm a part of, the team that we have launching at the end of the month. And yeah, just so much stuff comes up that you have to delegate, different ways. And it's just so important to have a team that's, well rounded, that, can handle, different aspects of it. Because, it's more than a one person job. It really is. There's so, and I never really understood that as much until I became, part of a team launching a token, how much really truly goes into that.
Yeah, definitely. I don't think you really realize it until you're on the other side of it. I think some of the people in our room, I try to stay very active in our room and be very open, availability wise to people that just whatever they want to talk about the project. And I think some of them are seeing that, you start off, you're up to 10 o'clock at night, 11, 12, and they're like, oh man, this guy's still up at 2 in the morning.
Yeah, same here.
And that's case in point right there.
Yeah. You know, Security seems to be, one of the big, issues in the BSC space right now. Um, what do you think can be done to kind of, not legitimize it, because there are a lot of like good legitimate projects that come out every week, but what do you think can be done to kind of clean up the BSC space a little bit, to get rid of some of these rug pulls and scam projects?
Well, I think even people that are doxxed in KYC, you're seeing that even happen still. It's tough to not do business face to face
Yeah.
in general. And even here in the United States, our government wants to try to control everything they possibly can. And I do think to some extent there will be more controls put in place, more regulation put in place. I mean, of course, they're already pivoting for that. And as that happens, though, that's a two-edged sword. On one hand, I know we don't want any governments involved in what we're doing, and that's completely understandable. I'm for that too. But on the flip side too, you see that although that will cause more security, um, that type of security is what's needed for the big whales, the real guys with big money on Wall
Yeah.
Street, to deem the crypto space to be a great investment spot for portfolios.
Yeah. See, the real problem is, though, with government getting involved, 99.9% of them only know crypto is, Bitcoin or Ethereum, possibly. They have no clue about, DeFi. And, they may be able to do things with centralized exchanges, like tax them and all, but I just don't see how they can really do any type of regulation with DeFi. I just think it's a tough ask, for something that, they don't understand.
Yeah, and that's very true too. I mean, they may not be able to police or add much to the DeFi area, but us as investors and being in this space, we need to raise the standard
Agreed.
ourselves. You need to, as an investor, say that, this is the level of transparency, this is the par that what I'm seeing, but that's not good enough for me. And you need to demand that from the projects, because in the end, they are handling your investment, and they do need to manage it right, and they do need to succeed with it and execute their plans. So
Do you think that that responsibility lies with the launch pads that launch these projects to, do a better job vetting them to, make sure what they're, putting out into the world is, like a legitimate project, at least as best as
well,
possible?
to some extent, it can be. I think everybody has to hold responsibility, from the investor to the project to the launch pad. I think everybody holds a piece to that puzzle. But even if somebody checks out, even when the launch pad does, or whoever is handling that does that to the best of their ability, you still can't account for somebody just throwing the money in a wallet and running off with it.
No,
And
you
and
can't.
that's the real problem, is right there.
What are your plans for launch? Are you planning on using a launch pad or?
Yeah, we are tentatively, we haven't gone into an actual partnership with anybody yet. Our intention is to partner with Reflex. That is our intention. Now, and some of those conversations have been just kind of lightly talked about with that group, and also others too. I mean, we're talking to others. We 100% will not launch with Pancake Swap. That is a guaranteed. You can quote me here. That won't happen. But what we need to do is we need to make sure that our contract, with all the bells and whistles and what
Yeah.
it's doing, we want to make sure that that marries well with the launch pad and also the DEX that comes after that. So.
Yeah, I know with our token, what we decided to do was do a stealth launch and completely stay away from pink sale. We didn't like the idea of having to, pay them a certain amount of tokens and then, having to either buy them back or have them dumped on the chart. So, I'm thinking that, there's a lot of, good launch pads that are coming out there. Y5's getting close to having their launch pad. I know it's ready, but I don't think they've launched their first project yet. Reflex is another good one. But I think in the next year or so, you're going to start seeing some tokens, kind of taking their own approach to it of, handling their own pre-sale and launch and doing their own airdrops and all to, kind of stay away from that. Because I got to tell you, pink sale sickens me when a bot can
Mm.
just make a replica of the pink sale, dashboard and just post it on Telegram and just collect hundreds of BNB from people with a fake contract and just run away with the money. It's terrible and it makes me sick when I see that, and it happens every day just about.
Yeah, exactly. And you don't see them really doing much about it.
No.
But they have a lot of competition entering the market, and for very good reason. So I definitely respect that, because there needs to be that, again, the standard needs to be raised, and I think some of these launch pads are going to give them a run for their money.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Now, I ask everybody this question because it's a different question. It's a different answer for kind of everybody. So, what has been your greatest challenge so far that you didn't plan for or you weren't able to plan for that's kind of popped up?
Well, we're still pretty early,
Right.
so I don't think that we've had too much of a challenge yet, or I haven't felt like we've hit a wall or a challenge that we had to climb over yet. Things have gone pretty smoothly. We've worked really well on our communication, not just with the community, but between each other, and so it's worked out very well. I think the biggest challenge that we've had so far is just starting to, as right now we're at the point where we're starting to make ourselves known.
Yeah.
And and the great thing is that we've had a great foundation of community members, and they've started to make us known. It's we're starting to become one of those people that are being whispered about around right now. So, but we don't want it to be whispers. We want it to be, everybody yelling and screaming, "Hey, come over here, take a look at this." So that right there is a challenge that we're starting to address and work through right now.
Yeah, that's what I told you about a week ago. That some people in the room, right around the time when we started talking, some people in my room were, starting to post some stuff about you guys. Like, hey, have you guys seen this group yet? Because I got a pretty good group. It's one of the larger private groups, which is crazy that it's grown to over 330 members at this point. I only started it, just for some my subs for my YouTube channel, and then it just turned into friends that I deal with, and then just other people we met. So I mean, at this point, we have 300 members now just in my private group, which is one of the bigger private groups. So yeah, we get some good discussions going on in here, and we really find out about a lot of good new projects. And yours was one of them that has been coming up in the room. So that's why I was anxious to get you in so that they could actually learn a little bit more about not only the project but you as well.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. Well, I appreciate that. It's humbling to see that when you put some when you're trying to put some work in and put things, people start to recognize some of the value you're trying to put out. So we're always very appreciative of that.
Yeah, yeah, and I don't know if you know much about my backstory, but I call myself an accidental YouTuber, and right when I first started investing in Y5, I made that. What I like to do is whenever I invest in a project, I like watching some videos on it, just kind of finding out some perspectives outside of my own, and there really wasn't many videos on it. So just for shits and giggles, I said, you know what, I'm gonna make a video. I've never made a video in my life. This was back in January, and I made a video and I got like 30 or 40 subs off of it, and it was just meant to be a one-time video. And then people were like, hey, when's your next video coming out? And I was just like, it was just a one-time thing, man. I'm not making any more videos. I'm not a YouTuber. And next thing you know, through their encouragement, 130, it's been crazy that this is just a completely unexpected journey that I've gone down.
Yeah, yeah, that's I mean that's how it goes. Sometimes different things present themselves, and you just that.
Completely, but I like to do things a little bit different here. I don't like to keep it just all business in here. Obviously we want to find out about your project, but I like people to know about you as well. I'm from Philly originally, and that you're a Cowboys fan. We've had gone back and forth a little bit